Good evening, everyone. I'm Rose Colosino with Indivisible, Illinois. I welcome you this evening, along with my organizing partners, Northwest Suburban OFA, Ballot Z, and the team. Introduce yourself, some remarks, and then we'll have a question for you too. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Chris Kasmer. I've got my 1-minute speech down from knocking doors, so I'll share that with you. But I have lived in Orland Park since March of 2012. I have 2 kids that are in Orland School District 135. So for the last 4 years, I have volunteered as the district-wide president of the Parents for Education for the school district. That is the parents group that raises money for the schools, enhanced educational opportunities for students. I am a union carpenter, and so I actually built a lot of homes in Orland Park, but through the Carpenters Union, I actually teach a leadership program out at our International Training Center. So for about 6 years before the pandemic hit, 5 to 6 times a year, I would fly out to our International Training Center. We would bring in a couple hundred contractors and carpenters, and we would put them through what we call collaborative leadership, which was teaching them skills in working with different personality types based on DISC profiles. And then we would put them through all kinds of communication modules with an emphasis on teaching them to be active listeners so that other stakeholders could provide ideas. And when more than one person is involved in the decision-making process, people have a tendency to have buy-in and pull on the same end of the rope instead of working against you. And I think that's a skill that we have been missing in the village for the last 4 years. Actually being able to listen to residents, put their ideas into motion. And then the last thing that I like to tell people is, for 11 years, I've actually been a trustee on the Chicago Transit Authority's Retiree Healthcare Trust. It's a $1 billion trust fund that provides subsidized retired healthcare to retired transit workers. I've served terms as its chairman and as the secretary of that board. It's one of the only municipal funds in the state that's been 100% funded. We've actually been able to decrease contributions into that fund over the time that I've been on it without reducing benefits. So, it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but I sort of say I think that I have the trifecta as being a trustee for what you'd want for in local office, that I have the right temperament and leadership skills to involve other people. I've been trying to volunteer, make my community better on as much as I can. And then, I actually have a proven track record of being a careful steward of public money. So, and then from there, I just ask people what's important to them and try to talk to about what they care about in the village. So that's my elevator speech.
And a very good one too. What would you prioritize? What would be your perhaps number one step?
Well, I think the number one step is actually improving communications with residents. Whether you fall on the left or right end of the spectrum, politically, I don't think that matters if people are, talking about facts, instead of negotiating over misinformation, you know what I mean? If we can all agree on a set of what reality is and what the challenges are, we should focus on fixing those problems rather than, making up problems and then, arguing about those or pretending like problems don't exist and ignoring them. So I'm really interested in, having a shared vision for Orland Park and, listening to people to make sure that, we're talking about what matters and then instead of talking about political spin. And I think that's where some of my leadership could come into play in the village.
Music to my ears. Indivisible has something called Truth Brigade. And I think fighting for the truth is not only important for Orland, but really for the US, the world, and our democracy. So very well said.